Hello and welcome back to another exciting episode of Lives, Thrives and Mental Health Dives. I know it's going to be throwing you people. I'm sat on the other side, and that's because someone here is a little baby, has a good side and bad side, when actually I just think she's gorgeous from every angle.
No, I do, and you don't have a bad side, so you can sit on that side.
Oh, no, that's so kind. Before we start today, I do need to say that this episode is sponsored by MTC Motorsport. Thank you very much for your support from the lovely Matt there. Why is that funny?
Your podcast voice just is making me laugh already.
Do you want me to use this voice in other areas?
No.
Right, okay, so today is actually a highly requested episode. The people have spoken and they want to meet my other half. So here she is.
I'm honoured. Thank you to the people that have requested this.
So I thought that we would do like a no expectations episode.
Yeah.
And we would just kind of talk about our origin story.
Your favourite.
My favourite thing to talk about. And maybe a little bit about what it's like to be a woman loving a woman. It is different. I mean, you wouldn't know, thankfully.
What do you mean?
Because you don't have boyfriends, Ella.
No.
Except
you don't either anymore.
I don't.
Thank God.
Sorry, I was going to say shout out Benedict, your first boyfriend.
We can't say that.
Ella has had one boyfriend in her life, all right? And if he is watching, he won't be, babe.
Well, I might have had a few more, but... Oh! I'm joking.
You best get them out now. You best get it out. No, I'm joking. So, how me and Ella met, how the world... Collided, and two worlds collided, and how the stars aligned.
You do love this.
It is my favourite story only because it happened in a very non-Tessa coded way. And what I mean by that is in the past, when previous relationships of mine have ended, I have done that kind of like 6-month cooling off period where I've definitely like sat in an ex's jumper, eating Chinese takeaway and listening to Adele.
Okay.
And this time I was actually really proud of myself. Maybe I am growing up. I was quite
back
proactive.
on the wagon.
I didn't just get back on the wagon.
Sounds like you did.
I wasn't whoring about. Guys, this is propaganda and misinformation, and you know it is. She's trying to be funny. Anyway.
No, you only waited a few weeks until Hinge arrived at your doorstep.
Yeah. So basically, I was just very proactive. My last relationship ended, and I kind of thought, you know, I do need to do a bit of healing, but also I just don't want to be a very sad girl. I just want to be out with my friends. So I kind of pooled all my sad energy into like gym and getting myself like back in touch with my friends, etc. And then, yes, as Ella has just stated, 6 weeks after my last relationship, I downloaded Hinge. I will be honest, at the time I was just thinking about a little hookup.
Yeah, bit of fun.
Mm-hmm. And then the first day that I had Hinge, Ella came across my screen.
Yeah, and you told me that the other week and I actually didn't know it was the first day of you having Hinge.
Yeah, it was the first day.
Sorry that you didn't get more of an experience of...
Well, I got an experience.
Well,
I didn't just get one match. Have you seen me?
I'll never know. I reckon it was just me.
It was. Anyway, big do's and little do's. Ella came across my screen. I thought she looked a little bit cute. And I didn't want to let her know that I thought just her physical attributes were what were drawing me in. So I actually liked one of her little jokes.
Yeah, my Curtis Pritchard reference that does get a lot of likes. Did get a lot of likes. It's archived, obviously.
Oh, does it get it?
But what did you reply?
It should be deleted and bolted shut.
Easy bye. No, you replied to what it said something like, I also like to be the, believe it or not, I also like to be the one that
who wakes up and makes everyone a coffee in the morning. Everyone's ready for the morning. And I thought, it's not that funny, but I'll give her a like.
Yeah.
And then we matched.
Yep. So not only did she give me the like, she also gave me the message. No, you said, Ella, step into my office.
I did. Girls, you've got to be forward. Do you know what I mean? I always say that. So yeah, I said, Ella, step into my office. And then Ella replied saying, haha, congrats, you've made me laugh on a Tuesday.
Yeah, something like that.
And I said, groundbreaking, isn't it, that someone can be a 7 out of 10 and have a personality as well. And then Ella thought, listen, this girl has knocked my block off.
Yeah, you did, to be fair.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, we've like said this, and I don't want to sound too like mushy gushy, but like we were glued to our phones.
Yeah.
It was a very special connection, definitely.
Which was mad because I really wasn't looking for like, well, for anything, a relationship.
I wasn't. I'd literally just come out of a relationship.
But I don't think I was looking for anything.
Yeah, I wasn't. I'd just come out of a relationship and I think I was like, I just need a bit of fun, just no stress.
Yeah. You'd got Hinge for like the post-relationship fun and I was in Hinge because it was just
Were you in the trenches of Hinge?
I think a bit, yeah. Just kept it for when I'm bored one day.
Yeah, because you'd actually said to me, hadn't you, that you'd been seeing like a few different people, not at the same time, but like you'd had a few kind of like dalliances, and you'd actually said to somebody...
And I've been like, I'm not ready for a relationship, which I actually did genuinely mean.
Yeah.
But there you were. You never know what's around the corner.
You don't. And I usually have this rule on dating apps, just for like, I suppose, context, where I feel like if the chat is flowing, you've got to strike while the iron's hot.
Oh, yeah, you do.
And I remember after like 3 or 4 days of us chatting, I was like, anyway, you're going to let me take you for a drink or what?
Yeah.
And you were like, yeah, but I'm not free this weekend, but I can next weekend. And I was like, oh, too bad, so sad. I'm going to Dubai.
Yeah. So we didn't even see each other for like 2 weeks.
And I remember as well thinking, oh, that's a shame, because I do fancy her and I feel like we've got real flow. But I thought it was kind of like dead before it began, because I thought...
Well, Tess actually said, listen, if you want, I don't have to go to Dubai, because she was that invested.
Things that never happened, volume 971. Right.
But
yeah, so I thought it was going to be like dead because I was going to Dubai. I thought it was going to fizzle out, but little did we know I'd be running from McDonald's to Starbucks to find Wi-Fi to see you in Dubai every second.
Yeah, it was mad.
And another fun fact about me and Ella getting to know each other is, I don't know if other people have been to Dubai, FaceTime does not work in Dubai, and neither does WhatsApp video.
Which we didn't know.
No, and we wanted to speak on the phone, didn't we, before we actually met up?
Yeah. Standard. You've got to get the phone call in before a date.
So what did we have to do, Ella?
We Zoom called. We Zoom called, and I was laid on my bed thinking, Ella, what are you doing? Setting up a Zoom meeting just to speak to this girl.
Wasn't it like 1 a.m. at home as well?
No, I think it was 1 a.m. where you were, and it was like earlier for me. But and then it was just cracks from start to finish. It
actually was.
And I remember coming off the phone call thinking, all right, okay, we'll go on a date. But I still had that like apprehension of thinking, will I find her like funny / attractive in real life?
Yeah, well, I've told you this. Ella, if you ever go and look at Ella's Instagram, which you should do because it's very...
At Ella Schick is that? I'm joking.
It's very cool. Like, she's very like photography cool
Am
girl.
I?
Yeah, you are.
Well,
you
thanks,
are.
Tess. Appreciate that.
But with that, there wasn't like that many like, like head-on full frontal photos. Ella's always in the background of like a blurry beer photo, like...
What?
Or like...
that pose.
Or like... random cool coded pictures anyway. So I remember like scouring her Instagram and me being like, is she fit?
Yeah, and I remember you saying that to me.
Yeah. And then I should have known it was maybe a slightly different thing, because on our actual first date, I was so nervous. And I'm not nervous on first dates. I usually walk in there like fucking own the
Conor
gaff.
McGregor.
Yeah. Giving it that.
Nah, you didn't.
And you came through the little ticket barrier. Your ticket got stuck.
It didn't. You always had this story. I was like, Tess, don't wait near the ticket barrier, because if my ticket starts playing up, it's going to be an ick. And now Tess, when she retells the story, is like, yeah, Ella's ticket got stuck. And I think, when did that happen? Because it didn't. Wrong date. But there you were waiting for me.
If there's one thing that Ella can't stand, it's the thought of her being in an embarrassing situation.
Yeah, well, I'm not usually in them. But yeah, we met. I came through the ticket barrier. Big do's and little do's.
I could
Tess
not
was
make
there.
eye contact. And then we got to our first pit stop, and I realised that Ella had an undercut.
Oh, this story again. Yeah, and Tess was like rude about it and was like, oh, what was your thought process behind that? And I thought, pardon?
But do you know what, guys? It did grow on me.
Literally, because it's grown out.
Yeah, now it has, but it kind of like...
You liked it.
I'll turn me on a little bit.
Well,
when it was fresh.
Yeah.
When it was 3 weeks grown out.
No, but we've grown it out now. We're over that phase. Not because Tess didn't like it, but...
No.
Yeah, the actual start of the first date was a little awkward because you were like, oh, my hair, it's blowing everywhere. And you were like...
No, it was torrentially
fixing
raining.
your hair. And then I was thinking, oh, God. But then it just flowed.
Yeah, it did. And we actually went to Behind Closed Doors in Manchester, and that's where we had our first
Recommend for
kiss.
a first date, it's a vibe.
And I remember texting Liv, shout out Liv. So, Liv was like, how's the date going? And I said, yeah, she kisses weird.
No, can't get that on the podcast. Matt, you'll be deleting that. Because if we break up and it's out there that I kiss weird, when it is a blatant lie.
Let me finish the story.
Because again, it isn't true.
No. I text Liv saying she kisses weird, but yeah, I didn't really like her. And why did I say you kiss weird? Because
Tess went in for our first kiss with like tongue initially, and I was thinking, I don't even know you. We've been together 2 hours. So I was like blocking the tongue. So is that a wrong thing to do?
I went to go in with the tongue and Ella was like, oh, I'm pulling away. And I was like, oh, she don't kiss with tongue. It's a bit dead.
Yeah, well.
Anyway, we unlocked that trap door, didn't we?
It does my head in when you say Ella kiss is weird.
I've said it once. Come on, we're not deleting it, guys.
No, we'll keep it. We'll keep it.
And then the rest is history.
Yeah, it was a good first date.
Yeah, but I feel like I wanted to like touch on this topic kind of briefly maybe, because since we've been together and like we've met all each other's friends and family and everything else, like people do ask us obviously the dreaded question, don't they, where they're like,
oh, have you met the one?
Yeah,
I know
have you met the
say
one?
That.
Are you two the one? Is it the one? And we have a bit of our own hot take on the one, don't we? We both think that we are the closest thing to the one that each other has ever found.
Yeah.
But then this makes me sound so defeatist against love, and I'm not. I think I'm just realistic, and you are as well, because you've dated quite a lot. I've dated quite a lot. And I think that like the one is actually quite an unrealistic idea. Yeah. Well, first of all, is that I've thought they were all the one.
Yeah, of course, when you're with them, you're going to think that you're the one, but you got the girlfriend, the boyfriend that you had when you were 18, 19, probably isn't going to be the one. But
and I got into a heated debate about this topic once. I was out for dinner, and this person, who I won't name, was like, so have you met the one? Talking about my current like partner at the time. And I was like, I don't know. And then she was like, well, then you've not met the one.
Yeah, I can't believe you're saying that. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was kind of like, but isn't that such a shit concept? Because if the worst were to happen, which has happened plenty of times, and they don't want to be with me and they dump me, does that mean I'm resigned to never being happy with anybody else?
Yeah. And also, I think you don't know what's going to happen. God forbid something happens to me or you. I would like to find someone else.
Okay, you've heard that here first, people. I don't want you to ever move on.
But that's what I mean. That's the point, isn't it? Like, the one is great. Yeah, everyone's the one at some point.
Yeah.
And hopefully you are the one.
But we really are each other's one.
Oh, so I've just clocked on that Tess is barefoot on the podcast.
Okay. I'm in my own home.
I know, but...
with the love of my life.
We're on podcast.
All right, well, sorry.
Listen, it's all right.
All righty, moving swiftly on. So people have been asking you to come on this episode because they want to know more about you. Oh. Now, you've said you don't want me to put you on the spot.
Yeah. What do you want to know?
A little bit about Ella Schick. So why don't you talk to us about your football career?
Tess makes out that I'm like a professional football player. I'm not, sadly.
You are in my eyes, boo.
Yeah, well, thanks, Tess. No, I do love football. It was a big part of my life, and I work for a football club. So I get football in that sense. I also started back playing.
Yeah,
and
then ACL. What happened?
No, I've been told we can't talk a lot about my ACL because I do go off on a tangent. Okay?
We can talk about it though because people need context.
Yeah, no. I tore my ACL, so I've not played since I did that. Obviously, I had surgery in Feb, and
I was there at the game when it happened.
Yeah, Tess was. She jumped over the barrier. God,
again. No. People were saying to me, they're like, Tess, do you want to run on? And I was thinking, absolutely fucking not.
Yeah, wise decision from you.
You were crying under the cagoules at the other end of the pitch.
Yeah, it was a rough space, but no, we're over the worst of it now. Our relationship's been pushed to the brink.
Our relationship's been pushed to the brink. What
with a capital B, it actually has.
Yeah. I think it's had more of an impact than either of us thought. I don't mean on us and how much we like care for one another. I just mean like on life in general.
Oh yeah, I was 100% naive to that, like that it was going to be as bad as it was.
Yeah,
and also I didn't realize, I guess for those that resonate out there that like that use sport, I fully did not realize how much I use not even sport, but just like being outdoors, walking, running, anything like that. How much I use it as an outlet for shittiness and grief, to be specific. But
yeah,
so it was a rough space really. But we're like 8 weeks deep now and life's on the up. The sun's shining.
Sorry, we've not been together 8 weeks, guys. We've actually been together over a year, but she means 8 weeks recovery. But yeah, when you say it's an outlet for grief, I mean, should we touch briefly on like what you mean by that?
Yes, we can do.
So do you want to say or do you want me to?
Yeah, no, so I've just had experiences where I've lost some significant people, very significant people in my life.
Yeah. Your dad and your brother.
Yeah, through mental health. So obviously never ever expected to experience that, but it's something I've had to navigate, as have my family. So
and I think, like you said, like sport and even just like outdoor walking, getting out of the house, etc., is obviously such a coping mechanism for you.
Yeah.
And I mean, I know you wouldn't know it, guys, because Ella is a breath of fresh air and sunshine. But obviously, she.
Oh yeah, you mask that. Not that I mask it all the time, but it is a.
And I think that it's certainly opened my eyes as like a partner as well, of like how important exercise is. As stupid as that sounds, it's like massive, isn't it?
Yeah. And I'm not big stuff, just little. No. I mean, before I tore my ACL, I wasn't doing ultramarathons and playing sport.
And park run and whatever.
Being able to do it when you want to do it, basically, yeah, is the thing.
Absolutely.
But yeah, that's it really from the football side. Recovering now.
Yeah.
What else about me?
Well, the next question I actually wanted to ask you was, what has been your experience of dating Tessa Dirk? Can you tell that I love these type of conversation, guys? I'm like, tell me again how pretty you thought I was the first time we met.
Yeah,
I know I'm fishing. Such that girl, but I'm not fishing, but it's just nice to hear nice things, isn't
it? What was the main question? What it's like to date you?
Yeah, because I think that because I went through a chaotic era in my 20s of being like perpetually single.
People know you for that.
Oh yeah, because I used to post all about it on my Instagram, and I think they probably can't believe that like
you've met the
could one. Be one. You really said the one, but yeah, that we're going steady.
Yeah, I think I can't put it into words what it's like to date you.
Mm-hmm. Am I like anyone else that you've ever dated?
No.
Really?
Well, you do have similarities to some people.
Yeah, like who? Other loves of your life.
Well, you just have similarities.
Yeah.
But what it's like to date you, it's... I can't think of the words, Tess.
Go on then.
Give
me an adjective.
Every day. No, I said this to you the other day. Every day you make me laugh.
Yeah.
You are incredibly caring. You have been that from day one.
Right.
And we're just really open with each other, and I think I love that.
Yeah, I
have 100% struggled with that. Like going back to what we talked about before, when I'd go on dates with people, I'd always feel there was like an elephant in the room because they've probably seen my Instagram post because they followed me since us like speaking on a dating app.
Mm-hmm.
And then we either talk about it or we don't. Whereas I think with you, I was so open with you straight away because that's how you made me feel, and I think that was such a big green flag.
And I think that ties nicely into kind of what I suppose the theme of this episode is about, which is like the difference in my experience in the difference in dating a woman versus dating a man.
Yeah.
I have had some great boyfriends. I've definitely been in love with boys. I don't like look at men and think, oh God, horrendous. I just find that I have had deeper, more meaningful connections with women for like the very reasons that you've just said. I don't feel like I've laughed and spoken on the levels that we do where we talk about like the universe and aliens and any other topic in between.
Yeah.
In that way.
And we talk, and like I've never had it where I literally talk to someone all the time.
Yeah.
And it's just like being with my best friend.
Yeah, it is. Do you know what? It genuinely is. And I always hate those kind of like Americanized.
Oh, yeah. That isn't me usually.
They're my best friend. But it is genuinely like
we literally, I buzz to get in bed, generally, if I'm on my own or not. But like when me and Tess go to bed, I know that we're going to have 20 minutes of laughter.
Mainly because Ella fucking winds me up and she finds that hilarious that I'm
like literally tears streaming down my face in laughter. And I think, love that. Listen, that's what it's all about.
One of the latest horrible things that Ella does. I think we're talking about the tarantula.
I don't think you should talk about that.
I'll give the PG version. Ella pretends that her hand is a tarantula and she crawls with it creepily over my body until I go, right! And then Ella absolutely howls laughing. It's like having an annoying little mouse in the bed with you. It's really something. But
one thing I was going to ask. Sorry, I know it is your podcast.
No, it's fine. Go ahead.
But I'm sat in your seat.
You are.
What I was going to say. Do you feel the age gap between us?
Sorry,
You're a cougar.
Really good question, Ella. Actually, yeah. So Ella and I have the biggest age gap between us that I've ever had dating.
Same with me.
As you.
But I did always say I think I should date an older girl. When I was a bit in the trenches, I was like, maybe it's like I need an older person.
Really? Do you find that you did
an older person? Sounds like you're in a care home. No, just someone like a couple of years older than me. Did you
find it hard to forge connection with people your age?
Yeah, and that is no disrespect to anyone that I've dated. Like, no, I'm not saying they're immature, but I think like you always say that I'm more mature than my years. But I don't know. I don't feel like I am, but I am in some senses.
I always make this joke. Like, I actually hate using that statement where I'm like, Ella is 6 years younger, but she's really mature, because I think it's like a classic pedo thing to say. You know, like when you've got like a 40-year-old guy going out with like a 20-year-old and he's like, no, but she's so mature for her age.
You wouldn't know.
Genuinely, I think based on Ella's life experiences that we've just briefly like touched on, and I just honestly think like the people that you've grown up with, like your family, like she's got older siblings, a family, like I feel like they've always treated you as a person, like they've not treated you as like a child per se. And I definitely think you're way, way more grown up mentally than I was when I was 26.
I guess I am, but sorry, we're going off on a tangent, but it's like, I think it's the generations now. Like you were mature for your age, were you?
No. When I was 26, I would say that was when my Instagram chaoticness was at its peak. And I literally lived hand to mouth. I used to spend my wage in the first 2 weeks of the month.
At 26?
Yeah. Because I was still living at home until the end of 26, the end of me being 26.
Yeah.
So I paid for my car insurance, my phone bill, and like used to make a bit of contribution to like a bit of food here and there, whatever. But I didn't really pay like rent solidly, exposing myself here. So anything I got paid just went straight into my back pocket. And also that was very much the era.
Like Donald Trump.
Why?
That's what you said before.
Yeah, I used to live life like Donald Trump. I'd go to like the local watering holes at the weekend and I'd be like, shots, drinks, yeah, on me. I was probably the most cash rich that you ever are, because obviously I didn't have the outgoings and responsibilities. But what I mean is like in the way that like we navigate our relationship and we do whatever, and you were able to have those conversations sometimes, like sometimes you come out with things and I think, God, you're like the fucking Dalai Lama. Like you'll say something that blows my mind and I'll think,
that is literally just like I think I have a good perspective on things, obviously, because of life. And like I went to America after college, played football, was meant to be there for 4 years, hated it. And I think that was a tough decision that I had to make to come home, because I felt like I'd let people down, whatever, yada. And then in my first year at uni was when my dad passed away. So from like 19 onwards, I kind of was forced to have a bit of gumption about myself. So
I definitely had gumption, and I definitely had like that independence to me. But like something you have massively that I didn't have was like self-preservation. I hadn't mastered that yet. So like if one of my friends annoyed me, or if like a boyfriend was like airing me, I would ring 20 times and I would stew, and I would
really
act in a way that I wouldn't be proud of the next day, because I'd act like erratically.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's
No,
you.
I'd be like, right, sound okay, crack on.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So maybe that's why we have married up at the time that we have. What I will say about the age difference, and this is the only time that I ever notice it, is sometimes when we're like story sharing. And I know I've used this example to you before, but Ella was like, we were talking about our pasts and our experiences and whatever. And Ella was telling me about like the first time she kissed a girl. And she went, I was just outside with this girl and she asked me if I wanted some of her e-cig. And I went, sorry,
I was
how old
17,
were you?
I think.
And Ella went, 17? I went, e-cigs didn't even come out until I'd left university. So moments like that when I think, I was smoking bangers. I was smoking the real deal.
Well, I might have had a few real deals.
All right, well, good for you.
No, I'm joking.
But stuff like that, and
when we listen to music in the car,
and
I'm like, oh,
it's a huge one,
such a uni song. This, and you're like, I was doing my PGC.
Yeah, sometimes a song will come on and Ella will be like, God, what a college song. And I'll think, what a PGCE song this was.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's really the only time.
To think that you're like my brother's age is mad, because I think there's such an age difference between me and Nick. Like,
yeah.
But with you, I don't know. It's different, but
listen, we're soul tied.
What's it like to date Ella Schick? Keep it nice, Tessa.
Dating Ella Schick is, it's a fairground ride every day.
That's nice.
It's really is like, you are definitely a person that I've described before as like bioluminescent. Like I think you bring such an energy to things, and I think that is clear with how you make everybody around you feel. Like if you speak to Ella's work colleagues, if you speak to her family, if you speak to her friends, everyone loves Ella. And I think that that's because you are just this like, just your laugh is just infectious and you just like daft as a brush. And I think that that is every day there's something to smile about with you.
Tess. All right, cut the podcast.
All right, we'll cut it there.
That was really nice. Thank you.
I'm joking. The actual thing I was going to ask you before you asked that good question about the age gap was when we were talking about like the difference between being with a woman, being with a man.
Yes.
One thing that actually we've had to like learn to navigate together is when you are, I guess, one of the girlies.
I know what you're going to say. Yeah.
It's like the friend thing.
Yeah, like it's girls' day.
Yeah.
If you were just in a
there's
straight
girls,
relationship.
Yeah, there's girls' day, there's whatever. And obviously when you are a girl, I think my friends especially like always want to make Ella feel welcome. They're always like, do you want to ask Ella to come to this baby shower or this or whatever? And I think we have to be careful, don't we, where we pick and choose what things we do bring one another to.
Yeah, but we're pretty like natural at that anyway, I feel.
Yeah, we are. But there have certainly been some moments that we've just had to like figure out because you never want people to like feel left out. But also we are both girls. So it's like, I don't know.
It feels less, what's the right word? Like normal for, say if I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to see like the girls in Manchester.
Yeah.
If you were a lad sat at home, you'd be like, oh, have a good time. But because you're a girl, it's like, oh, I do. But I think we are just like, we just balance it well.
Yeah,
and
well,
we're not.
Something we actually spoke about very early on was like us wanting to keep up with friends. We've both basically been in kind of, I will use the word toxic relationships in the past, where we've been very cut off from our friends, both of us like separately. And I think one massive thing in this relationship is that we were like, we definitely don't want that to happen again. And our friends mean everything to us because your friends really are the soulmates forever. Yeah.
And I'd like
anything happened between us,
100%.
That's your like support system, isn't it?
Yeah. And we did say that early on. And I actually only learned that lesson probably when I was like 24 and been in this relationship and then didn't see my mates for like 9 months, like two of my best friends in Leeds and then like Carl, one of my best friend in Manchester, and I didn't see him for months and months. And I remember being sat for coffee with him and was talking about the girl that I think we'd broken up at the time. I don't know. We were. The
details don't matter.
But I was like, and he was like, I remember him saying to me, because I said, I feel like I've just lost myself after this, like in this relationship. And he was like, you have. And I was thinking,
shit.
That the fact I hadn't seen my friends, I was like, I never ever want to be like that again.
No.
So we said that early on. And
but I think that comes through, and like now that everything, like the dust has settled, because when you first get with somebody as well, fuck me, you are booked out.
Yeah.
Like, because you want to meet each other's friends, you want to meet each other's family, you want to do stuff together, you want to do this, you want to do that. And I do understand, when people are like, God, we've not seen you, you vanished.
Yeah, it's hard.
Because you're trying to run
fresh,
around integrating your lives.
Yeah, and you're fresh in love, so you're in that bubble. But
yeah,
we're very similar coded as well, that like we both have a lot of friends, thankfully, and we're blessed with those. And I think that's a green flag as well. Like we're both the same type of individual in that sense, whereas in the past it's probably not worked because we've been with people who don't have that big circle of friends or different people in the life. So
absolutely. But since we've actually been together and got to know lots of each other's friends, I'm actually always surprised at how many of my straight friends are like, oh God, you're so lucky that you're with a girl.
Yeah.
Like, they get it.
Yeah. And
like particularly when it comes to like child raising. I'm sure like she won't even mind me mentioning her, like Liv, my best friend, shout out. Like when me and Ella go around and we're like with Liv and the baby, she's like, I feel like I'm just in this abundant home of women that can cook and we can clean and we can rear this child.
Yeah.
And Liv has actually said to me one-to-one, she's like, I'm actually jealous that you're going to get to like have a baby with a woman. She was like, 'cause that's going to be so good.
Yeah.
Like.
You never know though, me and you might clash.
I thought you were going to say break up, and I was going to be like, we're not having a live breakup on the podcast. We're not having a live breakup. We might clash. I definitely think we'll have differing parenting styles.
I'll be the soft mum, you'll be the tough mum, yada yada, you.
You will be a little pussy. You will.
I won't.
Ella.
Tess is referring to the time that my niece like slammed her lunchbox down because she was crying, and I gave her a lunchbox and she slammed it down.
No, you're not telling this correctly, right? Ella's niece has this like snack box that has like cheese cubes, cucumber
and
pieces,
she was,
whatever.
Not
and
happy.
Ella was like her Bedouin servant. She was like, another cheese cube. And Una. Ella's niece was like, no. And Ella was like, oh, okay, like retracting with the box. And I was looking at this situation thinking, listen, if that were my child, she'd get one offer of a cheese cube.
Yeah, but what happened? She slammed the box down and I was like, Una, you don't do that. And then Una started crying.
No, she went to smack you away. And Ella went, you don't hit. And then all of a sudden, her niece started crying. And then Ella went, oh, God. And then came back and stood next to me and she was like, oh, God, I'm just really on my mind that she's fallen out with me. I went, Ella, she's 2. And then Ella
went a tough watch. She had real tears.
She went back over to her niece and she went, oh, are we going to be friends? And her niece went, no. And Ella came over like, I fucked it now. And I was like, right, this is pathetic. I was like, she is 2. She'll forget about it in 3 seconds.
Yeah, it was tough though.
Was it tough on you?
No, we'll be
good.
I
just know that I'll have to be the disciplinarian and I don't want to be that. I want to be the fun one. But you're just weak.
Well, yeah, we'll see what happens when it comes.
Watch this space.
Long time away.
Is it?
Easy bye.
It's not that far away, Ella. Because I don't know if you know, but my eggs are dying by the minute.
We need to get them on ice.
Alrighty, moving swiftly on.
Okay.
So you were saying before that you have had boyfriends. What's your difference in experience between dating women and men than Mr. Boyfriend?
You're trying to mug me off and it's not kind. It's not kind.
You need to read the book of kindness. Sorry, me and Ella are also talking 99 ridiculous voices a day. And it's getting to the
Mainly Tess. I don't play up to it.
Righty, yeah, of course. It is getting to the point now where we actually have forgotten what our own voices sound like.
Yeah.
It's becoming a bit of a problem. Does anybody else resonate with that? Let us know.
What did you say? Boyfriend.
What's your experience? Boys versus girls.
I've not really had an experience. Were you talking about the boyfriends and dalliances that I had when I was in high school when I didn't even know what kissing was meant to be?
What about the boy that
careful
said to
what you say?
Like, excuse me.
I'm on edge with this hand grenade over here.
I'm sensing a tone and we'll take the tones down.
All right.
No, I'm joking. What was the story that you told me? And you were like, this boy texts you being like, we should hang out. And you were like, yeah. Who's coming? And he went, just me and you.
Like college, and I had I think I had feelings for a girl at that point for the first time. And then this boy who was like in our friendship group had texted me like, we share the same birthday, and he was like, I'm thinking, do you want to do something for our birthday? And I was like, and didn't read the room and was like, yeah, of course. Like, who are you thinking of inviting? And he was like, oh no, I was thinking just me and you. And I remember thinking, texting Kira like, Kira, you'll never guess what.
Did you kiss?
No, we went on like a few dates, but at the time, I am exposing myself. I had also kissed the first girl I'd ever kissed, so my mind was very heavy on her. And I remember thinking,
so you were a trollop.
I know for sure that I'm into girls.
Actually, what? Tell people your coming out story.
Yeah, so it's not really a story. Like, obviously, in first year uni when my dad passed away, I had like started dating a girl for only like a few months, and then my world was flipped upside down. And then I remember being like,
sorry to interject. When you were away at uni, did you feel like you could like reinvent yourself and you could fully just be like in a relationship with a girl with no holdbacks?
Yeah. Because I'd like together? The first time that I'd been away from home for like an extended period of time and knew that I was definitely like into girls. So like when I went to America, I didn't know that. So yeah. And then we'd only been dating for a few months, and then after my dad passed, we were all obviously at home with my mum, and I remember my mum saying to me like, Ellie, you know, your brothers have got their girlfriends here. I think my mum kind of suspected and was like, if you need anyone here, friends, whoever else, they can be here. Yeah. So my person I was dating at the time came to stay in Wigan, and I think that's my family my mum knew, but like my brothers kind of.
My favourite part of this story is one of Ella's brothers have got a French partner who's fabulously chic, and they met the ex in question. Yeah. And I think you must have introduced her as like, this is my friend, this is my friend. Yeah, yeah. Probably a bit embarrassed.
Yeah, because we literally weren't together, but and then.
Yeah. And then Marion, Ella's like sister-in-law, her French sister-in-law, tells this like funny story of going to bed and Ella's brother going, you know, that friend of Ella's, I don't think it's a friend. I think it's more. Marion went, well, fuck me, of course.
Yeah, well, I actually didn't know that story until a few years ago, but Yeah, iconic. So there wasn't really a coming out story as such.
No, but something I have always said to Ella is like the ex in like question that we're talking about during that time. I actually always think fair fucks to her because for the fact that you were like 19, both of you, and you hadn't been together that long, and she helped you like navigate that massive like situation in your life is like real, you know, respect. And
because we were only 19, and I think I work now with young people that age, and I think
crazy.
Yeah. So it was an interesting story, but what was yours, Tessa?
My coming out story. This could be what we'll end on, actually. Okay. It'll be a nice end.
We'll end it with I actually need to be reminded of this because I
think I've told this story on another episode. Or do you mean how I came out to my parents?
Mainly that.
I got drunk and text them.
Oh,
because I was too chicken shit to say anything, and I just didn't know how to like get it out.
Oh yeah, and you have told me that, and then you sent like your mum the picture of the girl in question, and I went, "Why did you send her that?"
My mum was like, "Learn everything you can from the experience,"
and then
she said something like that. And then
get over it,
and then get on and get up and get with a man. No, she wasn't like that. I think my parents did have their struggles with it for sure, but I wonder now if that was because it happened so much later in my life.
Yeah.
So I think they hadn't like had it swilled around the mouth. They were kind of like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
But listen, everything happens for a reason, and here we are in love.
Here we are, and maybe we'll do an episode 2.
Which
will be the live breakup. I'm joking.
Inviting yourself back for another episode. Yeah, so I hope everyone has enjoyed getting to know.
Yeah, I feel like
one.
Yeah.
The love of my life.
Hopefully they know a little bit more.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can follow Ella if you want, but only if you go on there and like pictures of me.
If there are any. No, I'm joking.
Oh, a little bit toxic. Out there. I'm joking. Anyway, it's been real, all right?
It's been a pleasure, Tess. No, we're not doing that. We're not. We're not doing it. But it has been great. And
it has. And we'll see you next time. Bye.